For my virtual readout, I picked the book Where the Wild Things Are, and this book was banned in the southern states right when it came out in 1963. And some of the reasons that it was banned or challenged is because Max in the book, he throws a tantrum, and so they didn't think that that was good for kids to see bad behavior in a book. And another reason is that the mom sent him to bed without supper, and so they thought that that was very bad, that there was a book about a mom sending her child to bed without supper, and so that was one reason. That a lot of people thought it was too scary for kids and that they would have nightmares about it, and so they didn't want the kids to be scared. And then the other reason is that because some of the events in it are called supernatural, and so they didn't think that they wanted to promote the magic and supernatural of Max having a force in his room. And so, Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another, his mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." And so he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew, and grew, and grew, until his ceiling hung with vines, and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day, and in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with a magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened, and called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of all the wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed, without eating their supper. And Max, the king of all the wild things, was lonely, and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around, from far away, across the world, he smelled good things to eat, and he gave up being the king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up, we love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye, and sailed back over a year, in and out of the weeks, and through a day, and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. I think that there are definitely a lot of merits in this book, and one of the most being that Max gets to use his imagination, and it promotes using your imagination as a kid. And another merit of this book is actually its illustrations. It did win the Caldecott the medal, and so there are so many good things about this book, Where the Wild Things Are.